This is the absolute last time that I'm going to have this thing in my hands before it gets boxed up and sent off to Andrew Baena. Be kind, because I'm not really a baritone guitar player, but I'll give it my best shot. While we're at it, shout out to James, the master builder at G&L Guitars. Let's go over some specs. The first thing that I want to point out is this little mini toggle. So it's either off or it's on, and that's all that there is to it. The Pegasus pickup right here barely lost any output at all because there's such a minimal amount of solder joints, and that all goes right out to a pure tone jack that will just hold everything in place. This is a pretty bulletproof system right here. It works out really good, and I thought I was being extremely clever until I found out that Andrew already has a guitar with a mini switch to where his pickup is either on or it's off. The next really big feature on this guitar is the GraphTech unlock. Playing an unlock feels different than one of their standard graphite nuts. It feels like it just makes sort of an extra long, super slippery ramp for the strings. And they said, yeah, that's exactly what it does. That's the entire point. When we pair that with the GraphTech ratio locking tuners, then we've got tuning stability for days. Last but not least, the whole reason this entire project started in the first place, the Kahler bridge. This right here is just a standard Kahler 2300 with Teflon rollers and a brass cam. The Teflon is our trebliest sound, the brass is our bassiest sound, and we have this huge contact plate that goes all over the body. And get a good close look. There's absolutely no wood taken out of the back. Gary Kahler had bored out the armholes to where we could put in our bigger fulcrum and bass arms for this particular baritone guitar. The next thing about this bridge is that it's super versatile. It is meant to have fine tuners, but they're out because there's no locking nut and there's no string lock. So we don't have to have fine tuners down here. And as if that isn't enough, we even have this in the fixed bridge position right now. So you can get the benefits of the Teflon rollers and the brass cam and all of the surface area right here, and the minimal routing, and leave it fixed. And that's just fine. Right now there's a screw engaged that's making this a fixed bridge. I can back it out, and I also have put in another screw that makes it dive only. That is not something that we normally do, but in Andrew's case I figured what the heck. Now if it's set upright, I will unscrew this screw while still leaving it in the plate, and the guitar will not vary in tune at all when I back it out, if it is set up correctly. So it sounds like it's set up correctly. And what we're going to do now is go through the different arms, starting with the shortest and then getting ridiculous with the long ones. This Allen wrench is going to adjust how tight this clutch is. Right now it's very, very loose. And now it'll stay in place. In the beginning, I'm going to have it up here. This is going to give us very, very little leverage. It's good for a little bit of wavering, kind of a la Jake of Humphreys McGee. With the small arm and the upper armhole up here, you don't have a whole lot of leverage. If we move it down to the bottom, however, we get just a little more leverage. Still have that same clutch adjustment for both top and bottom. They're independent of each other. This little arm isn't going to do much more, so we'll step up to a regular size arm that we send with our bass guitars. By now, everybody should know about the little intonation screw in here that I have repurposed. But if you do not, well, there's a little intonation screw in here that I've repurposed. Once again, should not go out of tune as I release it. And it did not. This 9-inch bar looks a little ridiculous. I'll fully acknowledge that. However, it gives you the leverage you need, and believe it or not, you kind of flutter this baritone now. All right, now we're just going to get stupid. This 12-inch bar is absolutely ridiculous, but extreme leverage. I mean, extreme leverage to do pretty much whatever you want. Now, of course, I'm just making an ugly racket with this bar right now, but I'm not really a baritone guy. More bass player than guitar player, actually, and this thing has such low notes, it actually makes me want to put a clean tone on it and kind of treat it like a bass. This right here is just kind of a ridiculous configuration with a great big long 12 right here and then this little palm bar right here. When you put them together like this and you goof around for a while, interesting things come out. Not this time, because I haven't been sitting here all night goofing off with it. I really hope that Andrew does. Andrew, I don't know if you're ever going to use these bars that we're giving you, but we're going to give you a bunch. But what we're going to do right now is relock this thing as a fixed bridge. And it went right back in. I'm going to take this 50 thousandths, and we're just going to put this down to where it's dive only again. And if that's where you happen to leave it, that is your want and desire, and that's just fine with us. As aforementioned, there are other benefits to this bridge other than the whammy bar. So I think that's going to be it. I'm going to pack this thing up, and I'm going to send it off to you, and I really hope that you like it. Big shout out to G&L for helping us by building the actual guitar, to Graphtec for hooking us up with the ratio locking tuners and the unlock, to Seymour Duncan for hooking us up with the Pegasus, to Stewart-MacDonald for hooking us up with pretty much everything else that we needed for this guitar. This has been just a labor of love and a bunch of people coming together to create the best possible guitar for you, Andrew. And I'll tell you this, you don't have to be a big influencer like Andrew to get a guitar like this. You can order a guitar just like this or any way you want from the G&L Custom Shop. What more could you ask for? So if you'll excuse me, the fun with this one's over. I better get cracking on Glenn Fricker's guitar with the Sustainer.